Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm back. Oh my gosh. I just want to say thank you guys so much for all of the support that you had given me in the previous video, and I know that the title may have been a little bit shocking, but I'm all good. I read each and every one of your guys' comments and I've taken everything on board, and I really appreciate the suggestions. So I kind of thought to ease myself, if you will, back into my channel. Kind of thought to do something a little bit close to home, so something that, you know, like emotions that I personally go through. So as you can tell from the title of this video, it's about what kind of breaks an INFP. Well, not kind of, but what does break an INFP rather. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you can relate to it. So if you are new here, my name is Lex Morningstar, and this YouTube channel is about the 16 personality types, namely INFP, and it's also about the human condition, which kind of correlates between the two. Let's begin. How to break an INFP? Well, the first one on the list is the INFP not living to their full potential. So this one is like when the INFP kind of feels like they're not quite there. Like they may have their passions or their niches that they like to follow that fulfills them more or less, but this feeling comes from a like, you kind of almost there, but just not quite. Now, it doesn't matter if during this phase you're either chasing your particular passion or you change this passion, which is something that I've done multiple times. Is where I feel like I'm drawn to something, which is extroverted intuition, our secondary function at play, where you're drawn to something that could potentially fulfill you, but it might just not be quite right. So you kind of go for something else. And it's this similar concept where you're constantly chasing this feeling of fulfillment. And this particular thing may fulfill you from time to time, but it's almost like something is missing and you can't quite put your finger on it. As a result, this may end for the INFP changing their passions constantly, and that is like when you view the INFP personality type online or something, like if you're researching it, one of the hallmarks of the INFP is that they're constantly changing their projects, and it is due to this specific thing. It's not that the INFP doesn't want to finish projects, but it's that the INFP may not find fulfillment with what they're doing. I do believe that once the INFP strengthens their extroverted thinking, that is where they will better fulfill those projects and see it right to the end. Because I do think that one of the things about the INFP is that they treat their passions with a little bit of wishful thinking. Like they may do the first step or two and then kind of lose traction with it because they may not be seeing the results straight away, and they may not really be doing the hard math of it to fulfill their passion or to take that passion to the next level. I know this all too well. I mean, recently I have been wanting to get into doing wedding videography, and it's been difficult because, for one, I doubt myself all the time. Like I'm always second guessing how good I am, and I'm also second guessing, is this something that I actually want to be doing? And I apply that to everything I have ever done in my life. It is this something that I'm really supposed to be doing? Please excuse the light, it's really patchy. The weather is super patchy, and I use natural light for my videos, so it's just going to be in and out strange lighting, and this can be so frustrating, not just for myself but for the people around me, because they all want the best for me, but I can be so hard on myself. I can second guess what my niche is in life. But one thing I do know is that I want to help people. If I can make them feel something from the content that I put out, whether it's a wedding video or a YouTube video, or whether it be doing art on a piece of canvas, either way, the whole idea is to help people in creative ways, to help people in ways where I can be creative and have full autonomy over creating something that can really push people's buttons. So that is one thing that I know I want to achieve. And for me, it's like I don't know how to get there 100%. Like it's kind of whatever works, because there are so many different things that I'm pretty alright at. Like whether that be videography or YouTube content creating or music or even like belly dance back when I was 18. You know, it was a way for me to be creative and to express myself and to help influence others. But when all of that's not there, like when you start second guessing yourself, or when your extroverted intuition is starting to kind of push you into the wrong direction, or push you into too many different directions rather, that's when it can be hard. That's when the INFP can fall down into the pit that they don't really want to be in, and it's hard to get yourself back up. That is one way of breaking an INFP. Moving on to the next one. So the next one is not fitting in. So as we have gathered already on this channel, a way that I like to describe an INFP and their personalities is that INFPs will be unapologetically themselves. Many INFPs may find that they don't have much of a friend group. They don't have many friends or even acquaintances. They can find themselves feeling lonely a lot. This is not to be confused with them being introverts. Just because someone is an introvert, it doesn't mean they don't like people. That is a huge misconception of what being an introvert is. INFPs value intimate connections with others. They value connections with others that have a deep and meaningful presence to them. INFPs don't really enjoy small talk. They don't really enjoy connecting with others based on superficial means. So as a result, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for the INFP to find their tribe, which is what has happened to me all through my life. I've had moments where I've had good friendships with people and I consider them lifelong friends. They may not be people that I see all the time, but you know, that's fine by me. I will catch up with them once in a blue moon and it is like no time has passed. But I would like to have consistency in my life. That would be very welcomed. INFPs may find that very difficult, however, because the connections that we seek, they are quite few and far between. They don't come around a lot. I guess INFPs do it to themselves, but still it sucks because there is nothing wrong with wanting to have those connections with people, because for the INFP, that is what life is about. It's about making the most out of life. It is about finding the meaning in life, finding the metaphors in life. So it can be very difficult when we don't have those kinds of people surrounding us. Of course, I have those suggestions of, why don't you go find a Plunkett group? Go find other mothers to be with. And it's like, yeah, but then I'm basing my friendship just on the fact that I'm a mother alone, rather than who that person is and what makes that person who they are. And then you get the situation where you might kind of have a group, or if you're like part of the fringe areas of the group where you like the people, but you don't really connect with them in the way that you wish you could. And that's a really hard concept too, because all you really want to do is to be able to connect with people, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what? Humans survive because they're social beings. They survive because of other people. We need people essentially to survive. And studies have shown that when you feel lonely, you don't have many people around you, or the people around you make you feel lonely, because it doesn't really matter which way, you increase your chances of having dementia. Clearly, even if you are an introvert, you still need quality social interaction. You still need to feel like you belong. INFPs may often find themselves feeling like aliens, or like feeling like they're not part of society, like they feel outcasted because of who they are. They feel like they're on this constant mission to find somewhere that they truly belong. This one is to ESTJ them. Now, what I mean by that is the fact that INFPs do not like routine. They do not like anything repetitive. They do not like repetitive drainy, boring data. INFPs don't like to feel trapped. I don't think anyone likes to feel trapped, but it's the INFP's perception of what feeling trapped is. INFPs thrive on spontaneity. If that spontaneity means that they can be creative and have autonomy over what they're doing, they don't enjoy having the same different day. That's something that's going to break them essentially. Well, I mean, it's the title of the video, so I can vouch for this because, you know, being a stay-at-home parent, I get a lot of repetition. You know, it's just part and parcel of reality, is that most often people have these moments of waking up doing the same thing every single day, whether you are a stay-at-home parent or whether you have a job in the city, you're going to experience that. It's often that nomadic people, the people who kind of live in a caravan and go traveling and they don't really have a residence anywhere, that's when you're really going to feel that kind of freedom. That is what an INFP likes to seek. But not saying that that is the only way to gain that feeling of freedom, but that's just what some people do. I'm not looking at you ENFPs. So an INFP may seek their own freedom by following their life purpose. That can really be anything. And so it's not just when you think of hopping in a caravan and being a nomad. That's just like the most freest kind of thing I can think of off the top of my head. But when that INFP is able to be creative and have full autonomy over their creativity, that's when they feel that freedom. So they could still have moments where they have to deal with data and all that reality stuff. As long as they have their thing, that's when they're going to be okay. But it's having that repetition, that routine and the draininess of it without having the thing that makes them who they are. That's when they start breaking, because there's only so much that they can handle. And that feeling is what leads them to feeling trapped within their circumstance and feeling like they can't really move. So it's really important that that INFP has their creative outlet. So moving on to the last one, and that is depressing their spark. So INFPs can be quite eccentric, and they tend to pride themselves on their uniqueness. Their uniqueness is ultimately what makes up who they are. And again, going back to that first point, they are unapologetically themselves. So they're going to be different. They're going to pride themselves on that. They're going to own that. However, when their toes get stepped on, when they feel like their character is being criticized, they can get quite easily offended because who they are is very special to themselves. And it waves them when someone doesn't appreciate them for who they are or thinks that they should change. They can take criticism to heart very easily. INFPs can be very sensitive people. Wow, that's a sudden dramatic change of lighting. I really need to get a ring light. This sensitivity is not to be confused with being weak though. It's just the fact that they reveal their true selves. Even if they're quiet about it, they're still just going to be who they are. And for that, you obviously no one wants to have their character attacked, whether they're someone who is really popular and may wear a little bit of a mask, or someone like an INFP who, may not be as popular or may not have a big social circle and be attacked for who they are. But that's it right there. The INFP will not wear a mask. They will not wear a mask. And this is why it sucks so much for the INFP when someone comes to attack their character, because they don't know how to wear a mask. They know how to be quietly themselves, but they don't know how to pretend to be someone they're not. It just doesn't work. So it's hard for that INFP to have someone attack their character and dim their spark. And I've had this so many times in my life, and it always ends up with managers. I don't know why. It's the managers who just can't, for some reason, adapt to other people's learning styles. I've also lived with people like this, people who just didn't get who I was, expected me to change, and all it did was make me withdraw into a shell. But not once did I pretend to be someone I wasn't. Not once did I put a mask on. I just kind of avoided seeing them. I just kind of avoided confrontation. I tend to become quite passive aggressive. It's very interesting. But hey, look, we're not all perfect. And that's the thing, we're all human. We all make up the human race of being very imperfect. And that about wraps us up for today, folks. I hope you really enjoyed this video. Before I go, I just want to kind of let you guys know on what the next few months is going to look like, because I am a little bit busy lately and stressed. So James and I are finally getting around to getting married now, and we're not having the kind of traditional wedding where you invite all your friends and family around and have a ceremony and then a reception. We're actually eloping. Now you guys all know it's not really eloping, is it? We're actually going to Vegas for our wedding, and so we are super excited, and we're on a hard saving buzz, and it's stressful naturally, but yeah, we're really excited, and I just kind of wanted to let you guys in on it. I was actually wondering whether to do a meet or greet when I come to the US, because I know that many of you guys, like actually the bulk of my subscribers, are from the United States, so it's something that I might just have to think about, and we'll just see how I go. But if that's something that you'd be interested in, pop a comment in the comments below and I'll think about it. But for now, I hope you guys have a really good day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you guys all again next time for the next video. Bye!